Welcome to my show, Thoughts, Action, Success. This week, we talk about happiness starts with you. We go through life doing our best to reach our dreams and our goals. We think that once we've achieved success, we'll finally be happy and at peace with the world. This may be true. However, the simple fact is that not everyone's going to end up successful. Only a small minority will reach the pinnacle of wealth and power. Most of us are going to get stuck living mediocre lives. So the question is, does that mean a small percentage of people are going to live happy lives? Are the rich, powerful, and successful the only ones with the right to be happy? The answer is fortunately no. You need neither money nor power to have a happy and fulfilling life. After all, happiness is a state of mind. You can have all the money in the world and still be unhappy. On the other side of the coin, you may not have many worldly possessions, but still live a happy life. In this show, I'm going to share with you that your happiness is not dependent on money, career, or status in life. It starts with yourself. Yeah, with you. We all have different definitions of happiness. What might make you happy may not be a source of happiness for other people. What others call their source of joy and fulfillment may not be so for you. For instance, many may say their happiness comes from their families and their good health. For others, it might be their jobs and their careers. For some, it's their wealth and their social standing in the community. For more than a few people, tasty food and drinks lights them up like no other. And the list goes on. With that said, researchers have long debated on a single definition of happiness. This is because there are too many factors that affect and contribute to a person's happiness. The consensus, however, is that happiness is the state of being happy. I know that this definition still seems a bit vague, but the point is that happiness is a mental state that reflects the range of emotions you encounter on a daily basis. It defines how you view your life, that is, whether you're satisfied or unsatisfied with your quality of life. If you're dissatisfied, then obviously it means you're not happy. However, if you are, then good for you. Now the thing is, just because someone's happy doesn't mean they're going to be immune to negative emotions. Nothing can be further from the truth. Happy people still encounter trials and challenges, but they deal with these differently than unhappy people would. This is what sets them apart from the rest of the population. Happy people aren't deterred easily. They're less susceptible to negative emotions. They don't allow others to walk all over them. Their happiness is contagious and people naturally gravitate towards them. You know a genuinely happy person when you meet them. They can literally light up a room just by being in it. No matter what your personal definition of happiness is, the simple truth remains. We can all use some more happiness in our lives. The world will be a much better place to live in if everyone on this planet radiates happiness. When you're constantly feeling the blues and you can't remember the last time you felt happy and free, then you need to figure out why as soon as possible. Getting stuck in an unhappy state is obviously not ideal for any person, as unhappiness can quickly spiral into depression. Here are a few questions you can ask yourself to figure out what's really causing your unhappiness. Ask yourself this very important question. Are you doing what you want to be doing? If the answer is no, then what are you doing about it? Are you taking any steps towards the job or career you want? Or do you feel like you're trapped in a day job you don't particularly like, but you stay in it because it pays the bills? For many people, this is a common dilemma. They know they're not happy with their current jobs, but they stay in it year in and year out. They may not like it, but they feel like they have no other choice. Over a period of time, their day jobs become their comfort zone. They become afraid of pursuing their passions. If you're one of them, then you need to figure out how you can free yourself to pursue your interests and your passions in life. This is where working with a coach can really help. You have a say about what goes on in your mind. That is, you have a choice about the kind of thoughts you allow to run through your head. You can choose to think positively, or you can choose the opposite. If you choose the latter, then obviously it's going to make you unhappy. Of course, you can easily tell yourself to stop thinking negative thoughts, but this is very much easier said than done. We can bump our heads all we want, and the negative thoughts will still keep coming back in the background. They'll still always be there. Visualization plays a vital role in overcoming negative thoughts, but it's also important to be self-aware and to pay attention to your thoughts. Here's a trick you can try right now. Every time you catch yourself thinking negatively, tell yourself to stop. Take a deep breath and imagine your whole body's coated in oil and the negativity sliding off of you. With the negativity banished from your mind, you can then let your positive thoughts take over. There are a lot of things you can be aiming for. Perfection isn't one of them. Why, you might ask? Because when you set perfection as your ultimate goal, you're inevitably setting yourself up for failure. Not just any failure, but a catastrophic one at that, especially if you give it your all. Instead of perfection, aim for something more realistic, like excellence, for instance. It's still higher up on the achievement scale, but at least it's more attainable. Not a single one of us is perfect, so why are we aiming for perfection? Perfection, to put it really bluntly, overrated. When you aim for perfection, you set a bar so high that when you make a single tiny mistake, it can cause everything you've worked for so hard just to crumble. When you aim for excellence, however, you give yourself a fighting chance to succeed. You're not going to be scared to go out there and make a fool of yourself because you know your chances of making it are good. You use your mistakes and your failures as learning experiences. And the other benefit of aiming for excellence, you've always got some more room to grow. And you can be the best performer at work or in your sport and still have the opportunity to do an even better job next time. Once you've figured out why you're unhappy, you'll be able to move forward and finally be on the path to creating happiness in your life. When your happiness is eating away at your soul and you think everything you have is going to waste, think again. Look around you. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you hear? What was the last time you looked at the sky? Like, really looked at it? Can you appreciate the sound of leaves rustling in the wind or feel the grass on your bare feet? Now, imagine having all these taken away from you. Imagine losing your vision, your hearing, your sense of touch, your sense of taste, and your sense of smell. Take a moment to reflect on what you're missing out on. Imagine spending the rest of your life without all of your senses. It's extremely hard, isn't it? You could be driven to end your life right then because life as you know it has ended. Your life will never be the same again. Fortunately, that was just an exercise, but it can be a powerful one at that. I hope it made you see just how trivial all your problems are compared to having everything. And I mean literally everything taken away from you. Let me share a list of 10 things you should appreciate in life. Number 1, life itself. Number 2, family. Number 3, friendship. Number 4, health. Number 5, love. Number 6, laughter. Number 7, tears. Number 8, nature. Number 9, time. And number 10, most importantly, yourself. Learn to appreciate everything you have in your life, both good and bad. In the end, they all come together to provide a unique life experience that's meant to challenge you and bring out the best in you. When you stop worrying about everything and start appreciating every little thing in life, your happiness will become apparent, not just to yourself, but to everyone around you too. Staying in your comfort zone is just as important as leaving it from time to time. Contrary to popular belief, your comfort zone isn't fixed to a single location. It's not bounded by physical walls. The truth is that our comfort zone exists in our mind. With that said, it should be easy to get out of it, right? Unfortunately, the answer is no. It's far more complicated than that. Comfort zones are called comfort for a reason. It's because everything that falls inside this zone makes us comfortable. We know everything like the back of our hands. It doesn't give us any headache. It doesn't cause us any stress. It's where we usually head to the moment life becomes too much for us to bear. It's your usual environment where you control everything and you know nothing's going to come out at you and scare you to death. Comfort zones are all good, but it becomes a negative thing when it holds you back from living life the way it's meant to be lived. Think of a turtle hiding in its shell. You're the turtle, and the shell is your comfort zone. You want to try out something new, but you're too afraid. Your friends are asking you to check out something new and fun, but you refuse. You spend your entire life in your shell. That's all you know. And because of that, you don't get to live life at all. You're simply living inside your shell. It's true that you can be happy inside your comfort zone, but like most things in life, you need to work on maintaining that level of happiness. And in order to do that, you need to step out of your comfort zone. Let me share with you some ways you can break out of your comfort zone. Remind yourself of your dreams. Don't let your comfort zone drag you down. You know what you want deep down inside, but you're too afraid of all the risks and the unknowns along the way. A realistic method of going after your dreams and minimizing the risks is by planning. Be brave and face your fears. Just because you're leaving your comfort zone behind doesn't mean you're going to be entering the lion's den. The outside world may be chaotic, but if you spend enough time in it, you'll learn it's not so bad. There's a semblance of order in there. You just need to open your eyes and recognize the signs and the patterns. Learn a new skill. Learning a new skill in this day and age is a must. Employers value it, colleagues appreciate it, and best of all, you're not limiting yourself to a single skill. New skills will open up a whole new world for you. Strike up a conversation. When we were kids, our parents told us to never talk to strangers, but it doesn't have to carry it on into our adult lives. We're better informed and we're savvy enough to identify who we should be avoiding and who we should be socialising with. You want to be happy, right? Then do whatever it takes so you can experience true happiness. It's as simple as that. But of course, nothing ever plays out that easily in life. It's so much easier to say you'll change than to actually do it. There are two kinds of change, positive and negative. It may not always be evident at first, that is. You're not sure if the change you're embracing will lead to a good result or a bad result. Sometimes you just need to take a good old leap of faith, and as the Nike slogan, just do it. When dealing with change, you can initiate it or you can wait for it to happen. The good thing is, if you initiate it, you're in a much better position to control it than just reacting to it. It's also easier for you to adapt to the change because you're expecting it. As such, you're not going to feel it came from out of nowhere and blindsided you. Though change is often painted negatively by the naysayers, there are plenty of benefits to embracing change. Let me share some of those with you. You can discover new opportunities. It's true that there are opportunities everywhere. When you've embraced yourself to embrace change, it's easier for you to uncover hidden opportunities. You'll grow as a person. Failure to embrace change means you're going to get stuck doing the same things over and over again. There's literally no room for you to grow and improve as a person. You will discover your strengths and weaknesses. Accepting and embracing change will allow you to discover your strengths and even your weaknesses. You'll learn new ways to solve problems. When you don't resist change, you'll eventually figure out new ways to solve problems. Getting exposed to new environments helps you think outside the box. Creating a life of happiness means embracing change. It means stepping out of your comfort zone. Ask yourself, what can you change in your life right now that will lead to your ultimate happiness? Do you need to change jobs? Do you need to take up a new hobby? Do you think moving to another city is necessary for you to achieve happiness? Only you know the answer to this question. The important thing to remember is that seeking and embracing change should be on the top of your list if you really want to achieve true happiness. If you want to create a life of happiness, then it's imperative that you start working on getting rid of your bad habits and replacing them with positive ones. However, doing this isn't as simple as it sounds. It's because bad habits take time to build. It doesn't happen overnight. Instead, it occurs over a period of time until it gets to a certain point where you either do the habit out of rote. You don't need to think about it, just do it. That's when you know you've formed a habit. Bad habits have the undesirable effect of making you unhappy in the long run. Sure, it may bring you some sort of satisfaction when you're doing the routine or habit, but it's not going to be good for you or your health as time goes by. Now, breaking bad habits will likewise take some time. You need to really work on it and have the self-awareness to know when you're doing the habit. Then you need to self-control and self-discipline to put a stop to it. Let me share a few strategies you can use to help you say goodbye to your bad habits. Know your cues or triggers. Research has shown that habits have 3 parts: a trigger or cue, a routine, and finally, a reward. Knowing what your cues or triggers are is the first step to overcoming a bad habit. Study your bad habits, analyze when you feel the need to carry it out, and this will give you some sort of insight. Reduce your stress. Sometimes bad habits form in response to various stresses in our life. You pick up the habit of drinking when you're overworked or when you have problems at home. You pick up procrastination when faced with a mountain of work. When you're trying to beat deadlines, you drink tons of coffee to give yourself a mental boost. These are just a few examples of things that we can do when we've become stressed. If you find yourself responding negatively to stress, then it's time to do something about it. But Kirstie, how do I do this, you might ask? By trying your best to reduce your stress levels. Figure out what makes you stressed and try to find a way to avoid these situations to make your stress levels go down. In most cases, living a stress-free life isn't going to be possible. So learning how to manage or control your stress is the key. With that said, it's important to note that stress isn't always such a bad thing. In fact, many say that some stress is necessary in our lives. It releases hormones which trigger our survival instincts. It helps us perform our tasks more efficiently and more effectively. It only becomes a bad thing when you let it take over your life. That is, when you allow yourself to get stressed constantly. Anchor your bad habits to new and positive ones. One of the easiest ways to break a bad habit and replace it with a positive one is to use an anchor system. This is how it works. Every time you catch yourself starting to do the bad habit, you do the new one instead. List all the reasons why you should quit the habit. There's a reason why bad habits are called bad. They have undesired effects that may or may not manifest immediately. Write all these negative consequences down and use it as your why to quit the habit. Make your descriptions as detailed and as graphic as possible. Every time you make a mistake and you go back to your old ways, look up the list and make a promise to do better next time. Loving yourself is a prerequisite to creating a life of happiness. This is because you can only be truly happy and at peace with the world if you love yourself. Likewise, you can't fully love another person if you don't appreciate yourself to begin with. You might be thinking, but Kirstie, how do I know if I love myself enough? Here are a few tips. You love what you see in the mirror. You prioritize yourself above everyone else. You take care of your body and your health. Material possessions can indeed make you happy, but not nearly as much if you share those possessions with the people you love and respect. Let me share with you a few ways to start building positive relationships with the people around you. Get to know other people. Be more understanding. Be a really good listener. Be a good communicator. We all make decisions throughout the day. Most don't require much thinking. You just know exactly what you're going to do. But in many cases, you need to stop and take some time to mull over your decision, where you weigh the pros and cons of all the options available to you. So how do you know you're making the right choice in life? Let me share with you 3 signs you're making the correct call. Your instincts say it's the right choice. You're proud of your decision. You've weighed the pros and cons. So let's recap the key takeaways from this show about happiness starts with you. Your happiness begins with you. If you're in an unhappy state right now, look deep within you for answers. Learn to love yourself and make yourself happy first. Do you want to know more about how you can finally be happy? Don't worry, this is not going to be an extremely difficult task. In fact, you can be happy with just a few simple tricks. I've shared some with you in the show, but there is so much more on offer. You might be surprised to find out the answer was inside you all along. Why not prove to everyone you have what it takes to be happy? Show the rest of the world that they too can be happy, just like you. Let me share with you the Happiness Starts With You program. It's all about how to awaken your true purpose in life and do work that you actually love. Do you want to find out more? Then head on over to my website, KirstieJohnston.com, and click on the My Courses tab and the Happiness Starts With You course. There's a free download, 100% free guide. Discover 5 surprisingly simple ways to be happy. That's yours regardless. And then there's some more details about the course. I'd love you to check it out, as I think you deserve it. I would also love you to join me again next Saturday at 10 a.m. Queensland time for the next edition of Thoughts, Action, Success, where we will talk about becoming the best version of yourself. Just want to let you know I currently have some limited vacancies for new coaching clients and wanted to offer the opportunity to my show viewers and listeners first. If you're interested in finding out more about coaching and if it could work for you, then I'd love to talk to you and have a complimentary, no obligation discovery session so you can experience it for yourself. All my contact details are available on my Facebook page or on my website, KirstieJohnston.com. In the meantime, join me over in the Thoughts, Action, Success Facebook group for exclusive access to further info action from this and previous episodes. In the meantime, have a fantastic weekend and we'll talk again soon.